Hey guys, I'm Eileen and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I thought it would be kind of fun to do a supply haul of all of my art supplies, going through some of my favorite supplies to use and some of my not so favorite supplies to use. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first I figured we'd start off with the sketchbooks that I use because that's like the base of what all the supplies that I use are going to be going on to, so I think that's a good starting point. So the sketchbook that I'm currently using is called a Ledchutrum. I definitely did not pronounce that right. This is my first time using this brand of sketchbook, and to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the paper. To be fair, the book that I'm using is not technically a sketchbook. I do think that they sell sketchbooks, but the one that I have is more of a notebook. So I think that's probably why the paper isn't very well suited for the material that I want to use on it. It's good for pencil sketching and pen doodles and all that stuff. So it's fine for simple sketches, but I like to use other mediums in my sketchbook as well. So it's not the greatest for that, and I'm not sure if I'll go back to this specific book. I think I'll go back to this brand because I would like to try out their actual sketchbooks, but I don't think I'll be going back to this like notebook sketchbook. To be more specific about what this paper is and isn't good for, it's good for pencil sketches, it's good for acrylic paints, which I did a few times in the beginning of the sketchbook and a few times in the middle. It's good for pen doodles, it's really good for acrylic markers, though I feel like that can basically go on anything. Colored pencils, it works fine with those. But for the things it's not so good with, definitely it's not good with wetter mediums. Which I guess makes sense. If you're using a wetter medium, you should maybe use like a mixed media sketchbook. But sketchbooks that I've used in the past that weren't really made for those still held up pretty well. But this one, I could not get it to work. I used watercolors in the sketchbook a few times. I think I maybe did it like once or twice, but it does not hold up well with that. I haven't tried gouache, but I can imagine that not being very good as well. I also tried, alcohol markers in the sketchbook are absolutely terrible. I tried to do a portrait in in alcohol markers in this book, and it was the strangest thing. You could do one layer of alcohol marker, but if you ever tried to layer it, it would like smudge whatever was underneath it. It was the strangest thing, and the markers like wouldn't really bleed through, which I guess is good, but that's normally only good if the drawing actually looks good too, and it did not. So yeah, if you're gonna use any sort of wet medium or a medium that has to soak into the paper, I would not recommend this book. Now, a sketchbook that I actually really enjoyed using was a brand called Papier, or Papier. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but the paper was absolutely perfect. I was able to use wet mediums and dry mediums in the sketchbook, and it was just absolutely perfect. It went well with the wet medium specifically. Actually looked really nice in the sketchbook, and I really liked it. Also, something that I really liked about this brand of sketchbooks, it's not technically a sketchbook, again, it's more of like a book you're meant to write in, but it's blank pages, so I just use it as a sketchbook. But they have so many designs of like covers you can pick from, and I have another one that I'm going to be using for my next sketchbook that I bought a while ago, but the one that I that I used before my current sketchbook. The design is just so pretty, and oh my god, I love it so much. It's so pretty to look at, and it just gets me so excited to draw in it, and it's just and when I finished it I was so sad because I was like, the cover is so pretty and I'll never be able to use it again. And like walking around with it and like showing people it, it's just like it's so fun. I love it. So yeah, I definitely recommend that brand. Also, once I finish my current sketchbook, I am definitely going to be doing a sketchbook tour of it. But if you guys are interested, I'm pretty sure I showed some of my sketches from my previous sketchbook. If you guys want a sketchbook tour of that one as well, maybe I will do that. So comment below if you'd be interested in that. Okay, so now we'll be getting into actual supplies that I use to make art. So the first pen that I keep in my pencil case is called a Stradler pigment liner. Again, I don't know if I pronounced that right, and it's a 1.2 size. I really like using this for like quick little doodles, definitely nothing super detailed because it is a very thicker liner than I would normally use for like detailed stuff. But it's good for like fun little doodles or just like to color in a background of something. And yeah, I like that one a lot. Okay, the next one that I use a lot is a Bic mechanical pencil. This one's a 0.5. I think everybody has used one of these pencils at some point in their lives. They're really cheap to get, they're convenient, you can get a lot of them in one pack. And I just think that they're really great. And I like the 0.5 because you can get a lot of detail in it. A 0.7 is still fine, I use that a lot too. But yeah, I love those pencils. Okay, the next pen that I use a lot is a Micron pen. This one's a 0.1. I really like the Micron pens a lot. I think that the saturation of their color is just really nice, and they come in a bunch of different sizes, and they're not super expensive. You can get them at Michael's. Yeah, they're good pens. That's all I really have to say about it. Okay, this next one is another Stradler pen. Again, I don't know if I'm saying that right. But this one is the color brown. I really like doing little doodles and sketches in this pen. I don't really know how to explain it. I think it's a water-based pen because just something about the way that it like writes and draws on the paper. I don't know. I really like it, the way it feels. And the color brown is just so nice. It's a nice like difference from using a regular black pen. And yeah. Okay, so the next one that I have is basically a Micron knockoff. This one's called Mr. Pen. This is a brush pen. And I think these were like the first outline pens that I ever got, and I just have kept them with me ever since. They're definitely a Micron dupe. But they work just as well. Again, they're cheap, they come in a bunch of different sizes, and yeah, they're basically the same as a Micron. Though when I do remember when I got that one, it came with like a sticker of a mustache, so they got that going for them. Alright, and the final supply that I like to keep in my pencil case is a jelly roll. This one is pink, but I do typically use a white one for like highlights and stuff. And yeah, this is a size 10. They're really great, they're simple, they go on really smoothly, they're not very streaky or anything, they cover up really nicely. Yeah. And I like the ones that are colored as well. They're nice for like doing little doodles on the page or something like that. And of course, in my pencil case, I always carry around a eraser. This eraser I have had literally forever. That's why it's so tiny. It started off as one of those big erasers, but over time it has deteriorated and become very tiny. I showed you guys how it's used. It erases so nicely. And yeah. Also, if you're wondering where I got this pencil case, I got it from Urban Outfitters at my local mall. So my next favorite art supply is the Liquid-X acrylic paints. I love these paints. I think they go on so nicely. They have great colors, and they're cheap and easy to find at Michael's. I typically normally get the primary colors. I get a primary yellow, a primary red, and a primary blue. And then I have magenta, which I like using the magenta a lot for under layers of paintings. I see a lot of other artists do that, and I like to do that too. It sets a nice tone for the painting. And then I normally have a burnt umber brown paint and an ivory black paint. And for white paint, instead of having just another tube of it, I go through so much white paint. So I normally just have a giant thing of gesso that I use as my white paint. And yeah, and I'll show you guys in my sketchbook some paintings that I've done using this paint. I love it. It mixes great colors. And yeah. I love it. That's my favorite brand. I'll always use this brand of paint for every painting that I make. So yeah. Next up we have the alcohol markers. I've been using alcohol markers a lot more recently. I used to use them a lot in the past, but I just haven't been doing a lot of them recently. But I've been trying to get back into them. So I have the Ohuhu skin tone set, which I got a long time ago. And sadly, one of my markers from that set, it must have accidentally dried out. Maybe I didn't put the cap on like fully enough, and it dried out. And of course it was one of the pretty colors, so yeah, that kind of sucks, but I love the Ohuhu markers. They're a bit pricey, which is why I only have the skin tone set, but just they go on so nicely, and it's like everyone else is using them too, and they just look so cool. I also have Art Soft alcohol markers, and I like these ones because they go on just as smoothly and just as nicely as Ohuhu markers do, but they're cheaper, and you can just get them at Michael's. You can get a pack of them, or you can buy individual ones. And yeah. Next up we have a more recent art supply that I've been getting into, which is soft chalk pastels. I have one pack that I borrowed from my school, which is the new pastels, or the Prismacolor pastels. And then I have a set that I bought myself, which is the Fantastory chalk pastels. I like both of them. I really do enjoy the ones that I got just because they are a bit bigger in size, and they're easier to hold, and of course, as I'm showing now, there is a lot of colors. There are 72 in this pack. And there's just such a nice variety. They're also vibrant. I do wish there was a bit more skin tones. I made a video using these, and I did a portrait of a person, and he turned out very orange just because there's not a lot of skin tone options. I mean, the skin tone options that there are just very orange, and I just kind of wish they were a little less orange. But you know, that's just a personal preference. And for the Prismacolor set, since I borrowed these ones from my school, it was a mix of a bunch of random colors, but I was able to like pick my own colors and put them into this pack. And I think I use these majority for sketching a portrait before I start it, because they're tinier and they're easier to hold, and you know, they're just better for sketching purposes. I'm not really making a portrait with these. Yeah. Next up, we have one of my favorite art supplies, which is my Artex acrylic markers. I absolutely adore these. I have two of the packs. I have this one that I'm showing on screen, and I have another one, but it's basically the same thing, just with a few other different colors. But I I absolutely love these markers. I need to use them more than I have been doing recently, but I used to use them a lot. Like every single one of my sketchbook pages when I first got them was used with these markers, and I want to get back into them, but I absolutely love them. They go on so smoothly. They have such vibrant and pretty colors. The brush tip makes it so easy to color things in, and they're just so fun to use. It makes me feel like a kid again, just like coloring things in. Yeah, I love them. Speaking of Artex, I also have the Artex colored pencils. These ones I love as well. I used to use Prismacolors a lot. I don't have the set anymore that I had. They all just got way too tiny. But these ones are very similar to Prismacolors. I'd say they're not they don't go on as smoothly as a Prismacolor would, but I'm not really making very detailed colored pencil drawings with these, so these are good enough for me. I normally just sketch with them. And also the pencils are so cute. They have little like stars on them, and they're so like pretty and aesthetic. The one thing that I don't love about these is the packaging that they come in. They have a similar setup to the acrylic markers. But if you have a really tiny pencil and you just put it like somewhere in the middle, it gets difficult to take it out, and also they kind of like get hidden in there, and it's hard to like see all of the colors that you have. But you know, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I can live with it. That's just a tiny little thing. But I do love these colored pencils and would recommend. Next up I have my watercolors, which I used to absolutely love using watercolors. It used to be the only thing that I would use to color in my drawings. I think I got this set back in middle school, and I am gonna be a senior in high school, so these have lasted me a long time. I don't know what the brand of watercolors that these are. It doesn't say on the packaging, but honestly I'm sure if you just looked up watercolors these would pop up. But yeah, I absolutely love them. If you want to see me using them, I use them in my Project Hail Mary video, which I will link if I can figure out how to do that. But I also have a shimmery set of watercolors, which I don't use very often, but you know, they're there, and I remember liking them when I used them, so yeah. And when using my watercolors, I like to use the Strathmore watercolor paper. This is cold press watercolor paper. This one came in 12 sheets. I don't remember what the size was, but it was bigger paper than average. I like this paper a lot. It works really well. Again, I used this paper in my Project Hail Mary video, and it holds up really well. If you tape it down, the paper really doesn't bend all that much, which I really love. You can put on as much water on it as possible, and it really won't curl all that much. Okay, so next up we have gouache, and me and gouache have a bit of a tough relationship. I used to love them when I was younger. I really knew how to use them, and I thought they were just great, and I love the look of when other people use them. They look so awesome. But recently I've really been struggling to use them. I talked about me struggling to use them in my Learn How to Fail video, which I will link if I can figure out how to do that. But I've also been having a big trouble with them molding. I didn't have issues with this in the past. I would always leave water in it and it would never mold, so I don't know why I'm having this issue now. I know this is common with people who use gouache, but I don't know, I don't want to have an art supply that could risk molding. So, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be using these as often as I used to when I was younger. Maybe I have to get a different set, I don't know. But I did try putting a bit of the gouache in this little case that I got that's meant for like portable watercolors. And again, it molded in there too, so now I gotta clean that thing out, which is a bummer, but you know, I really wanted to get back into gouache, but it's just the molding issue, and I really have a thing with mold. It's just so gross to me, and if I can just not be near it, that would be great. So I don't think I'm gonna be using gouache very often. Okay, so now for the brushes that I use, most of the brushes that I have are Arts Loft brushes. I'm just showing you one of the brushes that I have, but I have a whole bunch of them. I have had these brushes for like literally forever, and the brush tips have only gotten messed up a little bit, but majority of them are still going strong. They're all great. I love them. And I also have this other brand of brushes, but it doesn't say what the brand is on the stick. But I just got them at Michael's. I'm sure you could find them. They're just like longer brushes. They're still the brushes. They're still great. They still work really well. And finally, my last art supply that I use is my iPad for when I do digital work. On my iPad, I use Procreate to draw, and I have an Apple Pencil as well. I used to not have an Apple Pencil, and I would use just this random stylus that I had, but having an Apple Pencil really has changed like how I draw digitally. And if you don't have one, I would definitely recommend getting one. It's very useful. I also use Procreate to make my video thumbnails, which I'll be showing you right now. I have a whole bunch of them. And yeah, it's really easy to use. The setup and everything is simple. It's not like complicated. I have been curious about trying Clip Studio Paint, but I don't know if I'm going to be doing that anytime soon. But yeah, I like Procreate, all the simple uses. And also on my iPad, I use CapCut to edit my videos, which I'll be showing you guys now. It's really simple to use. I don't love all the like AI ads that I get on there, but you know, it's fine. Maybe I'll use a different software later in the future, but you know, it works for now. So yeah, that is all of my art supplies, my favorites and my least favorites. Yeah, I also want to point out that it doesn't matter what kind of supplies you have, if you have really expensive stuff, if you have all the cheap stuff, if you have good pencils, if you have just a big mechanical pencil, you can still make great art no matter the supplies that you have. I know many people who have just simple stuff and they make some incredible pieces of work, so don't feel bad if you don't have the amount of supplies that I have. Trust me, I'm just lucky to be able to get all of this stuff, but for the most part I just sketch with a mechanical pencil and that's about it. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to keep up with more videos that I'll have in the future. I've definitely gotten to a consistent posting schedule. I'm going to be posting every Sunday, or every Sunday that I can get to. Once school starts up, I know it's going to be a bit difficult to keep up with that, but I'm going to try my best to keep a consistent schedule. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!